have this morning?
Good. We are
awesome.
great.
Awesome.
We're really good. I really enjoyed your message of motivation this morning.
Thank you. I enjoyed it too. Let's take the front page.
Is that he enjoyed it too?
I know, right?
We were not expecting him to not say that he enjoyed it. The Business and Financial Times, Bank of Ghana moves to get all banks listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. New companies law to ease ways of doing business. No one, the president is saying this, no one will be shielded. President declares on collapse of 7 banks. Kokobot Etel to go paperless by November. Those are the stories on the front page of the Business and Financial Times.
Okay, on the front page of the Daily Guide, Melania Trump weeps at Cape Coast slave dungeon. Mahama blowing hot and cold over free SHS. No bogus $6 million audit. NPP fires NDC. And Bank of Ghana saved 1.2 million customers of failed banks. That's according to President Nana Akufo-Addo.
The new crusading guide, Battle of West Siemens oil sealed. Our policies have impacted positively on Ghanaians. That's the president saying America will help Akufo-Addo achieve Ghana beyond aid agenda and let voters decide on my competence. Kojo Bonsu replying at the cooker.
On the front page of the Daily Statesman, NPP rubbishes NDC claim of $6.8 million audit fee. Ghana's destiny is in safe hands, President Akufo-Addo assures. And NDC was divided in 2016. Mahama finally confesses.
Business Finder. Will banks heed President's call to cut interest rates? Question. Top 6 banks made 5 billion Ghana cedis profit in 2017. That's according to the Business Finder.
That's the
newspaper.
Okay. The front page of the Today, stop interfering in Jamestown chieftaincy dispute. Fear grips Obuasi after revelation that a god will turn into a huge snake. Stop panic withdrawals. Indum urges customers. And Christian Council is dead. That's according to the General Overseer of Temple Pillars Ministries International. That's the front page of the Today newspaper.
Christian Council. The Chronicle newspaper. The Ajiman chases mosquito. Wow. Chases mosquito.
As in General Mosquito?
Yes.
Or chases a mosquito?
General Mosquito. Of course. Threatens to pull Kwesi Binti before court. And you know why they are talking about Kwesi Binti, because General Mosquito once said that he was going to take money that he obtained, damages he obtained from suing a newspaper. He was going to use the money to put up a building and name it Kwesi Binti. Yes, we signed shady deals. And Daniel, this is the story you just said we're going to deal with. Ex-minister blames corruption on excessive monetization of elections. And brace yourself for tariff increases, PURC. Those are the stories on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper. Back page of the Chronicle, his mouth is out of control and he's embarrassing the club. That's Paul Scholes hitting out at Mourinho.
Okay. Finally, from me, on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, PURC to announce new tariffs by December 9th. President urges banks and financial institutions reduce lending rates. On that story of Melania going to Cape Coast Castle, also on the front page. On the back page, Ghana performs poorly in implementation of the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, and the Employment Minister presents 5 pickups to Department of Factories Inspectorate.
The Daily Graphic newspaper, lending rates high, President laments at Stanchart head office inauguration. Government didn't pay $6.8 million on forensic audit. Mrs. Trump makes emotional visit to Cape Coast Castle. Back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Why airstrip yet to be inaugurated over a year after completion? And let all Voltarians participate in referendum. That's Asogli State. Those are the stories here in the Daily Graphic.
Right, Malik, before you bring us a story of the lending rates, because yes, it's very, very expensive to get a loan. Let's say happy birthday to a 10-year-old, a new 10-year-old today, Alexis Aseda Bafo. She's the daughter of Dr. Priscilla Chumesi Bafo, a good friend of the show, the economist who came to explain the taxes, the new taxes to us. During a media budget review. Remember her?
I think I should say belated happy birthday to Niayi Hesse. Niayi Hesse is the grandson of Dr. Chris Hesse, Kwame Nkrumah's photographer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so happy birthday, Alexis Aseda Bafo, and belated happy birthday to
Niayi Hesse.
Guys, let's move on. Lending rates, Malik.
Yes, lending rates. The president is saying lending rates in Ghana are too high. Currently, lending rates stand at 27.5%. That means if you took a loan of 1 cedi, you are paying 27.5 pesos as interest on that 1 cedi loan that you would have taken. The president says this is way too high. He does not understand why, even though inflation has dropped from 15% down to 9.9% now by August this year, the lending rates still remain what they are. The president said this when he was inaugurating the StanChart new head office in Accra here. He said that StanChart have been his bankers, and as the president's bank, he's appealing to them to reduce their interest rate. They should take the lead in reducing their lending rate. And Daniel, let's just put this in perspective. Somewhere in the 2000s, lending rates were hovering around 40-50%. By 2008, 2009, this had come down to 18-19%. I know people who took loans somewhere in 2010, 2011 at an interest rate of 22%. Now it's back to 27%, which is way too high, even if you compare to lending rates among our neighboring countries. And I was just looking online. If you take Burkina Faso, for example, their lending rates have averaged 3.9% between 2010 and 2018. You take, Ivory Coast, and their lending rate is also 3.91% between the same period. It's only in 2009 that Ivory Coast's lending rate went up to about 8%, but it's brought down to 3.9%. Now, if you are taking a loan in Ghana, you are paying 27%, and somebody is taking loan in Ivory Coast, just your next door neighbor, and they are paying 3.9%, you tell me who is in a better place. Unfortunately, this is what our lending rates have been for
Ghanaian
a very long time.
businessmen may even decide to go to Ivory Coast and take loans from there.
Absolutely, that's if they qualify. And of course, the banks have always complained that, look, there are many problems that militate against them reducing lending rates because recoveries are low, and we have dealt with non-performing loans. They say addressing system is bad, you can't identify the people. All of these factors and the high rate of non-performing loans play a key role in setting the interest rate. Of course, the Finder newspaper says the banks made 5 billion last year as profit. That is because they are charging way too high lending rates.
Interesting. Anymore, let's move on to the PURC,
yes.
Shall we?
So there was a meeting yesterday between the PURC and some of the stakeholders, and it was to talk about the new tariffs that should be announced by December 9th. So we know that the PURC is planning to have like a 5-year template so that we can predict how much these utilities are going to go up year by year. So that's what that meeting was about. There will be new tariffs, though, introduced for December 9th. What's going to happen, though, is that before this 5-year plan is rolled out, the PURC is saying that they're going to have public engagements, they're going to have media engagements, so that it's sort of like a working together, so that when it comes out, there'll be no issues and it'll be something that we worked together to come to. So that's what's happening with that.
Interesting. But let's stick with the banks, yeah? Yesterday at when the president inaugurated the StanChart head office, one of the things he said, and I think this is about the 18th time the president is saying this, that the persons responsible for the collapse of the 7 indigenous banks will not be shielded. He says they will be dealt with, and we have heard this time and again. We just hope that what the president says will happen. And moving on, let's deal with politics. And yesterday, you remember I reviewed this story in which the General Secretary of the NDC said that the government had spent $6.8 million in some witch hunt audits that were going on, and that some private companies had been contracted to do this witch hunt investigations, and that it was Duajiman, the former Auditor General, and who is also board chair of the audit service, who was spearheading all of this. And Asiri Nketia said this man doesn't have integrity to do this. The MPP, as expected, responded. The communications director of the MPP, Abuabiyana Samuel, held his own press conference yesterday, at which he rubbished many of the claims that were made by Johnson Asiri Nketia at his press conference. First of all, he said that the government has not spent any $6.8 million on any audits as claimed by Asiri Nketia. He said that the claims were unfounded, and that Asiri Nketia was only making these claims because his own campaign to be retained by the NDC as General Secretary is foundering. and therefore he had to spring up all of these baseless allegations against the MPP to shore up his own standing in his party. And that it is not true at all that this amount of money was spent, and that if there's any cost at all, it is the institutions that are being audited which are paying. Of course, Asedin Ketia also said that UNDP had been contacted to fund some of these audits. He says that is not true. He said UNDP is providing only technical support, which is less than $100,000, and they are doing this as part of their own anti-corruption programs. One other issue Asedin Ketia raised was that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Vice President, used one of the 4 helicopters that were procured by Ghana Gas for his trip to the Upper West region, and that he does not understand why the government, as part of this audit, is claiming that they can't find these helicopters. He said, how can the Vice President use a helicopter and yet claim that they can't find the helicopters? He said, if you can't find a helicopter that you have used, can we trust you to see the expiry date on a product that you are donating to flood victims?
But do you remember when the planes went missing in Nigeria? That was quite a big deal, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Now, Yabobina Samuel responded and said, this is actually factually inaccurate because the Vice President used an Air Force helicopter and not one of the 4 helicopters procured by Ghana Gas as claimed by Johnson Asedin Ketia. So he listed a number of things that he said were all not true. But also related to this.
And so is this his first press conference as communications director?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is his first.
Yeah, it is his first press conference as communications director. Seeking to come out strong, isn't he?
Absolutely. And you could sense it at his and the manner in which he delivered.
So he tried to jab as much as he can.
Absolutely.
With that. Okay. Malik, let's move on, shall we? And women are seeking unsafe abortion services. That's quite worrying.
Absolutely. It's a big issue. Very many women in their large numbers are seeking unsafe abortions, and they are doing this because of stigmatization in the society. That many many ladies, when they have unwanted pregnancies and they want to terminate same, they are unable to do so because they will be stigmatized. And the Planned Parenthood Association of Ghana is saying this must stop. He said even though the number of reported unwanted abortions have declined from a figure of 15,325 in 2016 to a figure of 13,918 in 2017, the problem remains. And Daniel, we know this because very many young women can't confidently walk into a health facility because, of course, you know that there are legal restrictions. Of course, the legal restrictions, there are some leeways that are permitted, but those leeways are if it is proving that the pregnancy will endanger the health of the mother.
Yeah.
That's the legal way which is provided for a person to walk into a health facility and request an abortion to be performed. In the absence of that, abortion is illegal. Now, they are saying there are many people who may even qualify under the law, and yet because they will be stigmatized, they don't go to hospitals at all. They seek unsafe abortions from quacks and some other concoctions, which then endanger their lives. And this is a big health problems that we must deal with.
Of course, Malik, thanks a lot for bringing us those details of those newspapers. We'll go online in a minute, and the online news review is brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest, Goyle Good Energy, and download the Safe Doctor app now from Google Play. Safe Doctor, the future of better medical care. Now, Goyle, your number one and biggest indigenous oil marketing company, says, Ayiko to our numerous customers, your loyalty to the Goyle brand has again been rewarded. For the third consecutive year, Goyle is the CIMG Petroleum Company of the Year. We dedicate this award to you, our valuable customers, for staying with us through thick and thin. Continue to buy from any of our 300 plus service stations for quality fuel and lubricants. Buy Goyle and let's support the economy. Goyle Good Energy Goyle. Yanara Yedia. Now, Zenith Bank has now obtained ISO 27001 and PCI DSS certifications. More than ever before, customers of Zenith Bank can be assured of the confidentiality of their information as well as security of our systems, processes, and procedures. So go on, Make that move to Zenith Bank today. Open an account with us and sign up for our array of MasterCard and Visa cards. Banking with Zenith Bank is easy, convenient, and secure. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. Now, the Airtel Tigo network upgrade is ongoing to provide customers with nationwide coverage, fast internet, and superior voice quality. The upgrade will be a smooth one. However, in the unlikely event where customers do encounter a network challenge, such as no service or emergency, customers should visit any Airtel Tigo shop in the Greater Accra region with a valid ID to upgrade their SIM for free. This upgrade will not affect customers' Airtel Tigo money, airtime, or phone contacts. Customers can also call 100 or 0277 551000, or that's 0277 55 1000, or 0260000 100, or 0260,100 for more information. Let's upgrade together for wider coverage, fast internet experience, superior voice quality. Airtel Tigo, one big happy family. We're gonna start with myjoyonline.com, and 5 multimedia journalists have been nominated for the Wameka Awards. Congratulations to our brothers Manasseh Azuri-Abuni,
Justice Beidou,
Richard Kojo-Nyakun, and Daryl Kwao. Yes, who first has a joint business report this morning? Yes. So all the best to you, Daryl, Seth, Manasseh, Justice, and Richard. They've been nominated among 15 others across the sub-region. The event comes off next weekend on the 13th of October 2018 as part of the West African Media Excellence Conference and Awards, Wameka, organized by the Media Foundation for West Africa, MFWA. The cost of the banking sector cleanup has hit almost 13 billion cedis. This is according to President Akufo-Addo speaking there at the opening of the Standard Chartered Bank headquarters in Accra, which Malik, you brought us another angle from. It's getting really worrying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Initially, it was 2.2 billion last year when UTN Capital Bank closed down. Yeah. Then, when the 5 other banks closed up shop, it became 8 billion. No, it became 7.9 billion because there was 2.2 plus. Yeah, thank you. 8 billion. So it was 2.2 plus another 5.7, and that figure kept going higher and higher as KPMG was doing their work to find out exactly how big a problem was in some of these banks. And this is where we are now, where the figure has hit nearly 13 billion. You know, since the parliamentary hearing, have we had the report?
The in-camera parliamentary.
The in-camera hearing.
Yeah.
So there was a report.
They told us that they were going to brief the public. After the hearings, we haven't heard anything. The report has not been made public. Of course, we would not reasonably expect that the report would be made public, because if the hearings were not public, how can the
But what were the
public?
recommendations at least?
Absolutely. They said they would brief us. We still are waiting.
Because there should be recommendations made to the finance ministry, to the House, leadership of the House, so that specific steps are taken. I remember when it was the issue of Boakye Jakun, and there was a hearing. Of course, that was a public hearing, but the recommendation was that Mahama Yaraga is made to apologize. And then that's where he made his famous, if you want me to apologize, I apologize.
Conditional apology.
Yes. So I was looking forward to see what exactly they would ask us to do. And Yoko is supposed to have concluded an investigation. To be honest, Malik, I may be wrong. I've not been a journalist for long, but I don't remember Yoko investigating anybody at all that we have seen.
And bringing a conclusive...
that we have seen something...
Closure.
Some closure coming from that Yoko investigation. So I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway, let's move on. Ban BOG governors from establishing banks. That is from Otum, for a similar story there from Otum. For remember that word that Richard Monetiahine said when he came in, that you become governor of the Bank of Ghana, you set up a bank 3 years down the line. The new governor of the Bank of Ghana is your small boy. You go and you say, I need liquidity support. What can you do? What can they do? And the people who were not politically appointed in the bank and who have been there for a long time and may love and respect you, they are the ones who would have to come and do the checks on the bank.
Except that apart from Komna Dufa, we don't know that Kofi Wampa has any bank. We don't know that Abdel Nasser has any bank. There are many others. We don't know if they don't have any banks that we know of.
But now precedent has been set, and we do not. And this is not just about these 7 banks, because realistically speaking, what has happened has happened. So it will be important that we consider these going forward, don't you think so?
Yeah, well, like I said, Kwabena Dufo, and in all of the documentation that we have read, it's not clear to us that Unibank, for example, abuse any liquidity support given by the central bank. I think the major issue about the abuse of liquidity support was related and limited to just Capital Bank. Yeah, there were a few, but Unibank.
You know what?
Was not
Technically speaking, UT Bank also, according to the Borders report, misused the liquidity support. They used it to satisfy the debts that they had incurred overseas. Yeah. And that is not what they were supposed to use it for. Yeah, except that it wasn't as jaw-dropping as some of the other banks. But anyway, we'll be moving on. So Malik, you remember this statement that Elvis Efiye-Ankrah made that was played yesterday?
The solution is to deal with the system. When you deal with the system, then you no longer have this awkward situation where you go and collect money from the person. When you come into power, then you have to investigate the person or pretend to investigate the person, whichever way it is. So one party will talk about it. Why is it that sometimes you ask yourself about which sensible person will sign this contract or will agree to this deal? Haven't you asked yourself that question? It's because our hands are tied.
Well, that was Elvis Efiye-Ankrah. We also spoke with him yesterday. Malik, you think that's the situation? The hands of politicians
I
are
have
tied?
fundamental disagreements with him. I'm sure in the course of the show, I'll make my disagreements public.
Known. All right, then. We also want to hear from you. If you listening have a disagreement, 0244 340 437. Stay with us. This is the Super Morning Show.
Life before Interplast In Green Irrigation System.